One more question about President Obama. A lot of people are very nervous about him now. He's not having a good time in the White House now. You pointed out his lack of experience. You don't have that much experience. You walked away from the governorship after, what, 2 years, 2.5 years?
Going into my lame duck session, my fourth legislative session, that deciding I wasn't going to run again and not wanting to put Alaskans through a lame duck session that was full of
but is it fair to
distraction.
for you to criticize Obama's lack of experience when somebody could make the same criticism about you on the national stage?
If you're talking about executive experience, I would put my experience up against his any day of the week. I'd been elected to local office since 1992 and was a city manager, strong mayor form of government, was the chief executive of the state, was an oil and gas regulator. There was some good experience there that could have been put to use in a vice presidential ticket. We have to remember, too, that I wasn't running for president.
No, but that's the key question. Because John McCain is up there in years, you had to be qualified to take that office over.
Right, but I'm saying I was running for vice president, just like Joe Biden in running for vice president. I've never once heard you or anybody else question Joe Biden and his experience.
He's got a lot of experience. Let me be very bold and fresh again. Do you believe that you are smart enough, incisive enough, intellectual enough to handle the most powerful job in the world?
I believe that I am, because I have common sense and I believe, the values that are reflective of so many other American values. And I believe that what Americans are seeking is not the elitism, the kind of a spinelessness that perhaps is made up for that with some kind of elite Ivy League education and a fat resume that's based on anything but hard work and private sector free enterprise principles. Americans could be seeking something like that in positive change in their leadership. I'm not saying that has to be me.
Well, after speaking with Governor Palin, I do believe she has future political ambitions. As always, I could be wrong. But coming next, there are grave threats against America, including Iran. Governor Palin will address those threats after these messages. Sarah Palin is called upon in 212 to run for president, whether it be in a Republican Party or an independent party. And I'm going to interview then, and I'm going to say, look, Iran is this far away from getting a nuclear weapon, this far away. How are you going to stop them?
Let's start considering the sanctions that we should have been applying already, especially in this past year. Let's start looking at cutting off their imports of refined petroleum products.
Does that mean a blockade, a naval blockade?
We need to at least be willing to do such a thing and discuss it with our allies. And we need to be working closely with France and Britain, our other allies whom we can count on.
But they're already on board. The primary...
They're on board with what, though? What we're not discussing
they're on board
is some of
with
these
economic sanctions against Iran. Do you know the country that isn't on board, that's causing all the trouble here?
Well, we have to question Russia's commitment to all of this also.
Russia is the problem.
Right.
If Russia will not stop gas going in, the embargo means nothing. Putin's saying, look, I'm not helping you out unless you give me sphere of influence in Eastern Europe. And Sarah Palin running for president says what?
Well, we need to send that message that we are the superpower of the world, and it's not a conceit.
How do you do that?
By working closely with our other allies also, so that Putin
doesn't
sees
care?
what we're doing. He's got to care.
Why?
Because he's got relationships with these other countries also. We have to show the support for each one of our allies. With Israel, we cannot get into Israel, for instance, and say, we're going to tell you whether the Jewish community can expand or not expand within your borders. Instead, what we need to do is tell Israel that we'll go to bat for them,
well, what
if
does
you
that
will.
mean, though? Look, say Netanyahu calls you up and says, look, I'm bombing them. I'm bombing Iran. They're too close. I'm not going to let it happen. What do you say? You say, go ahead, Netanyahu, go bomb them? What do you say?
Oh, my gosh, any kind of war strike is the absolute last option.
All right, so you say
anybody
no,
would.
But he's saying to you, you guys aren't going to be able to stop them.
That's why we cannot let the world get to the place that you're talking about right now.
We're already there.
No, we're not. We're not quite there yet. There is still hope. But what we have to do is exert the pressure that America can put on our allies and on those who are not so friendly to us across the nation.
Obama says he's doing all that.
He's bowing to world leaders that I think any other president in our history...
Do you mean that literally, the Japanese emperor?
I mean that literally.
You think Obama's weak abroad?
I believe that his approach to diplomacy is not what history has shown us works. What works, in my mind, reading the history books, is what Reagan did, and that was to let the rest of the world know that America can be independent in a sense, and that we have the resources so that we won't be reliant on other countries to feed us and to feed our economy. What Reagan did, I think, what was the right thing. He boiled it all down to this. He looked at our enemies around the world, and he said, we win, you lose. That's what I want to see and feel and hear from our new administration, from President Obama.
But that's what Bush did, and it got him into all kinds of trouble because the world didn't like the Bush doctrine, unilateral action, okay? He crippled al-Qaeda. Bush crippled al-Qaeda, but in the process got us bogged down in Iraq and got world opinion against the USA.
President Bush and his policies kept our homeland safe for those years after
no doubt
9/11, and I think we need to learn from some of the policies that he implemented there too, and I would like to see President Obama acknowledge that Bush was successful in that arena.
No, he's never going to do that.
What I would like us to see is a shift from this 9/10 policy that it seems that Obama perhaps is embracing, and we start looking more at the 9/12 policies.
Well, that's what you would do.
That's what I would do.
But Obama isn't going to do that unless he's forced to do it. Afghanistan, the U.S. ambassador says, don't send in the 40,000 troops. This is such a corrupt place. Obama doesn't really know what to do at this point. We think he's going to send some troops in, but he's been, what, 16, 17 weeks now. A lot of people think you cannot win in Afghanistan. You cannot impose democracy on that nation.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be so tough, but Iraq was tough too. And when that surge strategy was finally implemented, we started to see the victorious steps taken there in Iraq. Let's repeat that in Afghanistan. Granted, conditions are different. Geographical conditions are different in Afghanistan. But Obama asked for, back in March, a new strategy. He tasked McChrystal with coming up with something. McChrystal then found the strategy, and now all these months later, Obama still hasn't been able to make up his mind in terms of our commitment to victory in Afghanistan.
Do you think it's possible for victory in Afghanistan?
I
Is
do.
it possible?
It has to be. We have got to be victorious in Afghanistan, or the terror cells are going to grow. And what is al-Qaeda's goal? What is al-Qaeda's goal? Growing those terror cells so they can come and destroy America. That's what al-Qaeda is for that.
But if you have a corrupt Afghan government that the people don't support, no matter how many troops you send in there, it isn't going to work. That's the problem in Afghanistan.
Well,
the Karzai government, a bunch of corrupt people.
Karzai is an imperfect leader. Every world leader is. We need to be working with him. We have no choice. We have got to win in Afghanistan. We have to send in the reinforcements. And I say this as a mom of an infantryman who could ultimately end up over there, which scares me. Of course, I know that for the future of our world, we've got to get rid of the terrorists over there and not allow those cells to grow.
On that note, the al-Qaeda leadership's still hiding in Pakistan. Do you go in and get them?
There's some encouraging steps taken there in Pakistan where internally they're cracking down on the terrorists within. That's some progress that we had been hoping for quite some time. So that's encouraging.
China. We can't do anything to China because they prop up our economy. They yelled at Obama when he went over there, the U.S. dollar going down the drain. Are you comfortable with China owning $1 trillion with U.S. currency? Are you comfortable with that?
I'm not comfortable with U.S. policy today that is allowing China to own so much of America.
It's free enterprise. They have the money. They can buy it.
With our debt. What isn't right about this, though, is that we're continuing to grow our debt, continuing to allow this situation that we're in where we're beholden to China and to others. We can't look at China and be blaming them right now for the problems that we're causing ourselves by spending too much money in growing government.
Now on Monday, Sarah Palin will tell us whether she will lead a populist movement in America, perhaps a third party, in 2012. Also, we would like you to vote in our BillO'Reilly.com poll. We're asking you to grade the Sarah Palin interview from A to F. Directly ahead, reaction from a liberal woman to what Sarah Palin said in the interviews.